Aneelkumar. I head the IT engineering and operations function for Giant Eagle, North American retail e-commerce business. We have esteemed panelists in the group. Mr. Rajat from Jacobs, the environmental consultant firm. Then Mr. Selvam from Bangalore International Airport, and very well-known veteran CISO and SVP from KreditBee, Mr. Satish Kumar Dwibhashi. So today's topic is around the key data center design and build practices. So over next 10 years, so definitely the process of design and build, the currently data centers are being operated starting from construction till implementing the data center transformation projects. So there will be definitely a lot of impact from the current digital transformation technologies we are going through. So today we are going to cover four major components of the topic. The first one is definitely the sustainability practices that includes the ESG perspective around data center construction till data center build and design. The second one is definitely the very hot topic about AI and ML impact on the build and design process. The other one, what are the strategic challenges in terms of integrating the latest digital technologies, security measures, and definitely the ESG aspects. So I'll start with the ESG part to Rajat. First question for you. How is the evolving data center roadmap in terms of decarbonization and ESG resiliency? So as you are the environmental consultant, what are your views and what are the best practices you are currently adopting in your organization?
Yeah, thanks, Anil. It's a really heated topic of the day, and it's going to be even more pertinent as the time evolves. As you can see that we are in a inflection point as a global community, both in terms of energy resiliency and the unprecedented challenges we are facing in terms of climate change resilience and those kind of aspects. There is a constant need of the hour for everybody to reduce the carbon emission footprint. And the data centers make about, from a recent published report, a 0.1 to 2% of, depending on the country, of course, of the global energy footprint. With that, there is a lot of challenges to reduce or decarbonize for that aspect, the energy demand they exert. Over and above, they are also quite vulnerable to a lot of climate risk.
Okay.
We've been, living in India. We just experienced the worst heat wave very recently this year. I'm from Delhi. Okay. We had the highest temperature in the last 70 years being recorded.
Bangalore is beating also.
Yeah, Bangalore, supposed to be a hill station, is reasonably hot. There is flash floods we are experiencing with the rainfalls. There's earthquake, tectonic activities happening with all that. And this just puts another spanner in the challenge when you design the data centers of the future, because you need to not only consider the conventional infrastructure, but you need to have additional infrastructure, make it more resilient. Furthermore, there is power backup. So a lot of these data centers have a huge DG setup because you have uninterrupted power requirements. So you cannot have a power outage. That requires a lot of redundancy in terms of diesel-based, and that needs to change. So those are some of the challenges that the data centers in the future will need to overcome, and we'll all have to put our heads together to manage these.
Okay. So while you are leading all the ESG initiatives, so what are the key significant challenges you face in terms of integrating the advanced digital technologies, security measures, and also the sustainability practices in your organization?
So I'll again start with a very recent example. We not so long ago, or probably just a week back, we heard of the Microsoft outage.
Yeah, CrowdStrike and Microsoft.
Yes, and we saw the repercussions of that. A lot of flights became standstill, and Mr. Selvam would probably be preview of some of those challenges very recently. So we are living in an age that our dependency is so high, we can't see any of these data centers going on, and that dependency is only going to increase. So thinking of how we can integrate in terms of reporting, not those just reporting X numbers, reducing to X, it has to be seen on ground. And that is what when we engage organizations or design data centers as a group, we look into those things. We look at integrated management of energy. We look at share management of energy. We look at waste water that is generated. There's about, for every megawatt of power being used, there's about 6.38 million gallons of water being used. Can that water be changed into a hydrogen electrolyzer and a green hydrogen-based energy we generated? That's what is the things of the future, and those kind of concepts are we thinking about,
Yeah, absolutely. Those are really, great initiatives. So let me switch the gears toward the security side. So Satish sir, in terms of mitigating the risk, the recent CrowdStrike event, one of the lessons learned was about the cyber resiliency. So what are your views in terms of building that mitigation plan for resiliency for the on-premise data centers, and how are we going to approach with a holistic approach in terms of starting from the design phase till implementation?
Okay, thank you. So honestly, this recent one, it's not only about on-prem data center. This was impacted across. In fact, I think don't talk about the recent CrowdStrike event. It is not Microsoft issue. It was a CrowdStrike agent which, only a CrowdStrike agent running on a Windows machine only got crashed. In fact, honestly, I can talk in favor of Mr. Selvam. The flights were not. If you look at the flight display, which is running a Windows machine, that got crashed.
Windows 10 and 11 predominantly.
Absolutely. Everything else was running well. So, of course, logistically, a lot of chaos happened because of those kiosk and display systems went off. Otherwise, I don't think there was a major impact on flights or others. Thankfully, most of the production servers runs on Linux and all, which was not impacted. In fact, this impact was only for Windows machine. And that too on a CrowdStrike agent. See, it was a one-off event. I call it as a black swan event. Okay. Like we never saw COVID, because COVID is a black swan event. Similarly, this is a one-off event. No doubt, we can't shrug it off. We have to definitely build more resilience. But coming back to data centers, definitely I think on-prem data centers are resilient. It's not that, if you look at, that's the reason why even today large banks, still they don't want to go to cloud. They still want to be on the on-prem data centers where they have much more control. And on-prem data centers also designed such a way that they are very resilient. In fact, if you look at the TIA 942 standards, every data center follows those tier 3, tier 4. I think today most of the data centers are tier 3 and tier 3 plus and tier 4 also. So in that context, a lot of these things are at a design stage itself, a lot of those aspects are taken care. And on top of that, especially while data center is very resilient, especially if you look at tier 3, tier 4, the power requirements, cooling requirement, all of them are taken care. On top of that, because co-location providers, the customers take care of the other cyber security resilience mechanisms, like of course the whole security by design, which they really ensure that the servers what they host in the co-location, right, are securely configured. And if you look at the data centers also, they are very, very compliant on all industry leading standards. If you go to any data center, if you look at the compliance page, they will be SOC 2 certified, they will be ISO 27001, PCI DSS, HIPAA, you name all of them.
Compliance,
all of the compliances. So definitely it's a very serious game, because finally it's not that on-prem data center is not secure. Definitely, I think the previous gentleman, right, the previous discussion, right, it's not that cloud will replace data center. End of the day, cloud also, right, if you look at all the data centers, hyperscalers are finally landing that whole data into a data center only, right? So it's on-prem data centers are definitely secure. And no doubt, because of the ease, convenience, startups who want to be on the cloud, they are basically born in the cloud. Otherwise, I think data centers are by default designed in a very resilient manner. And on top of that, customers build their own framework based on certain risk aspects, basically.
Yeah, I think we discussed on design and the build approach. In terms of maintenance of the data center and the operations,
Yes.
what are the latest technology like AI, ML are going to impact?
Yeah, absolutely. In fact, if you ask me already, most of the, see, when we say data center, it's all, the processes are based on ITIL,
Exactly.
the ITIL
Traditional.
framework. And there's a lot of, if you look at a lot of AI automation on the ITIL tools, if you look at the leading tools like BMC Remedy or, all of them, they have been using a lot of AI predictive analysis, like in the sense, something which may fail, right? Today, AI helps you to tell, it can predict that this server, this rack, this will fail in next maybe. I think that's the, because wherever there's a lot of data, already AI can do a lot of predictive, cognitive based analysis. I think if you already asked me, there's a lot of AI already has been built into these ITL tools. In fact, most of the ITSM tools have been leveraging AI for predictive modeling and predictive analysis and predictive preventive maintenance also. In fact, they don't wait for something to go wrong.
Correct.
The tools will tell that now this server, this SMPS, this power server may go down in next two. So there's already a, so I think there so much automation happened that it goes to a system where already a spare, maybe a power supply has been kept ready or it's been changed on the fly, basically.
Yeah, I think coming from that AI ops capabilities, right? They're building the unified observability.
I wanted to use the word AI
across
ops,
the data
but
centers.
absolutely it's a
Gone are the
purely-
days where people command center, the small knock screens. Now I think they are very full-fledged, centralized view of all the
And
data center
it's
ecosystem.
the most successful. In fact, a lot of AI adoption is happening on the ITL
Data
tools.
center.
AI ops is very big already.
Absolutely. So enterprise level also adoption is high.
Absolutely, very high. Because
So-
it's needed also. It's very much needed.
Thanks, Satish.
Because we've spoken about resilience, right? The
Correct.
only way to build resilience is to predict and
Absolutely.
be more.
While you build that resiliency, right,
Absolutely.
we need how to manage and
And you have to
maintain.
be more preemptive. You can't be reactive, because
Absolutely.
reactive days are gone now. You have to be more proactive.
Great insights. Thank you, Satish. And moving to Selvam. So, in terms of building that operational efficiency on the on-premise data centers, right? How the virtualization is contributing in operational improvement or bringing that process excellence?
Okay. I'm audible that the cloud strike part. Actually, Microsoft getting badly front-ended.
Correct.
It's not that Microsoft cloud issue anything. Okay. Most of the airlines subscribe some kind of the vendor solutions. That solution use that Azure cloud. Okay. That particular, those people use that cloud strike tools. That got impacted. The same Microsoft people using Sentinel-1 or Microsoft MDP, those people are not impacted. Okay. It's a position such a way on that it's Azure cloud issues. Azure cloud was working fine. The people using cloud strike is the endpoint security. Those people are impacted. The recent major airlines are impacted. There are multiple service providers for the departure control system in airlines called. Okay. That system only hot up that airline's operation. That is have the full update of what flight is coming up, landing, going, everything will come, including that your boarding pass issue will happen from there. Once that system is offline, all aircraft, they don't know which slot we want to go, what time will go. Those things impacted. India somehow they managed through via manual something. Some country totally they stop the entire flight operations.
Okay.
Still some countries recovery. Okay. These things happen whether it's a on-frame setup or cloud setup, something on that. It's a time-to-time market. Likely you can pray that I'm not using the particular security tools, somebody using on that. Okay. That's why today, this scenario, India, some airports are majorly impacted. Those applications also, they use the cloud strike as a endpoint securities. In our case, we are not used that one, sir. We are not getting major impact, except airlines booking systems are there. Compared to cloud part and on-prem virtual machines are there, the virtual machine basically reducing your footprint. Okay, for example, if you go 10 years before, normally you plan for data center, they plan for the data center 4 kVA to 6 kVA are there. That individual machine you are putting up there, this is a calculation, will not go maximum 4 kVA.
Yeah.
Now the high computing is coming up that one rack itself going for 20 to 1 kVA. Okay, you need specialized cooling and everything on that. That way they can be able to bring that virtualization concept, reduce your data footprint. At the same time, power consumptions also. Instead of multiple kernel running on that, okay, if it is instead of 10 machine, you put 2 machine, take care of that, that means power consumption will come reduce. And I want to add about that, the on-prem data center. we are talking about tier 3, tier 4 something, not each and every small, medium customer, MSME not able to afford that cost.
Yeah.
Only big business, people know that, okay, this investment is going to cloud. Cloud is basically entry startup companies are good. They don't want to make the capital investment. They can do the work on that. If you really do the calculator, okay, you're a matured company, my company is sustainable, doing that one, you're on-frame, give the more value add on that. The other one is that the two gentlemen mentioned, on-frame totally in your control.
Oh.
What hardware you are doing, whether I want to continue another 2 years, 1 year, using this data, you can able to do. Everything your control, what security tools you are putting, what the things are there. When you go into cloud, using as your IaaS, PaaS, as SaaS, you don't know what is that undergrounds are there. Maybe they're using 10 years before hardware also. You don't have the visibilities. What security tool they put up, no visibilities.
Absolutely.
They are only talking about like an insurance. Okay, I am protecting you. When happened, the damage happened, you'll go and claim something.
True.
But you don't have the high visibility. Whether I done that, my guardrail is done correctly. Okay, how you are segregating that, your own traffic, trusted traffic, untrusted traffic. Those things, cloud, you can only take the paper statement. Yes, yes, yes. Okay, when you go in that, they'll do all the tick mark. On-frame, that is fully your control. Like that,
Absolutely.
you have the people following ISO standard, people going for 20,000 audit, 20,000 audit. All audit, when you're doing that one, you get the gap also there.
Absolutely.
And you're talking about the digitization data, okay? That's all the system today generating more and more data. Normally, we're calling NOC or SOC, whatever doing. Mainly looking that whether the system is up or down, database up or down. This alert only are monitoring.
Correct.
Really, you don't know what fault. Like a predictive mentioned that, okay, some of the system giving the symptom of this is a failure. That means none of the system going down immediately. You are not focusing on that, you are not detecting. That way, that AI part is coming in the picture. People taking that entire, like a security team know that SIEM you are putting up, correct? They are identifying the pattern and detecting on that. The same way, normal infrastructure also coming up. What is the alarms are coming up related to power, symptom, chipset, everything coming up. If you are able to learn, once again the other data is going quickly, you can able to detect.
Absolutely.
You can reduce the damage on that. That's the way you can able to do that work. Second one is on-frame. For example, any industry you are taking, today data generation coming more, the data how they want to use something they're talking about. Like we are running for digital airport. Basically getting entire data so that visualize that what's happening.
Correct.
That means connected asset, non-connected asset. Connected asset means that asset where you put IP address, you can able to see that. Non-connected asset, you are using that IoT device, something on that, getting the traffic and put the clouds are there. Then you want to make strategy, okay, if it is my infrastructure within my campus, within industries are there, that places your on-frames are good. Otherwise, you go into cloud, everyone know that I have my cloud charges this. Nobody come and tell that how much bandwidth are required. Okay, take the example of airport. Any airport going on, they are running on fully high security area, running on 50-60,000 camera.
Yeah.
Assume that camera footprint you want to load into cloud, you can see that how much terabyte bandwidth is required from
Absolutely.
location to that one side.
Use data.
At the same time, if the same camera distribute to multiple locations, take the smart city. Okay, smart city, maybe street 1 or 2 are there. Is going on different broadband connections are there, you will not choked. Okay, still your cost will be going more. This is the hidden cost. When you are talking to cloud guy, will not come. When you go into nearline, that time you come to the cost, that time only coming that. They are always talking about your rack space, power space, cooling space, and everything. The bandwidth, actually, what type of business data you are putting up there. Actually, that's why the matured company, more data on-prem is good. And critical data, okay, for example, critical to the business.
Absolutely.
Those data lying with on-prem is always better. You have the full control of the entire resilience and everything on
Mission critical application.
that. Yeah. The latest technology is coming up that, okay, hyper-CPU, something on that, you can be able to accommodate that. I'm comparing that 5 year, 10 year before are there, data center making this much square bit, this much VPS, this much powers are there. Now modular concepts are coming up. Okay, you don't want to highly invest. Okay, I need 300 kVA, 1 megawatt power from day one. The one rack itself, everything coming up that. Okay, you have that. What is the VPS power required? What is the cooling required? Or something. Okay, that way. So inner levels are there. What the people are doing instead of 5,000 square feet, they will do the logical segregation on that cooling. Your row level coolings are there. That means that rest of the area, what you are not using, is saved. Otherwise, what will happen that, okay, you have the 50,000 square feet data centers are there. based on the 5-year plan, we build. Okay, initially you are using only 10,000 rupees. The rest of the area, cooling, light, and everything going waste. That way they'll come that, okay, you go for cage base, enable the cage base centers are there. Subsequently now, I think the previous call or somebody asking about this high computing power and something, our coolings are done. If you're going for modular, that time when the demand is coming, you do that work.
Absolutely.
So whatever the now invention happen, all big companies are investing like a R&D cost. Today, data center business will not invest that once are there. Once matured, market demands are there, then only they can invest. That's what I mean.
Great. I think great insights, Selvam Ji. So switching the gear to the ESG practices, Rajat. So what are the most effective strategies for incorporating the energy efficient systems and green building materials in terms of the initial data center construction projects? You being one of the environmental consultant, right? What are your takes there?
Yeah, I think in terms of incorporation, like I said, early adoption of it doesn't always have to be something really, complex. Sometimes simple systems work the best. Most recent one being the water cool technologies being adopted for cooling applications. But I think having it integrated as a closed loop system where you can minimize the waste footprint becomes key. And one of for example, I spoke about the water requirement per megawatt. Again, these technologies are in application stages and research stages, but as it evolves, we have trialed as a part of one of the data centers, the electrolyzer system, where the water footprint that is getting generated is then used by electrolyzer, and you're generating green hydrogen, which in turn helps you with the power resilience, resilience.
Okay.
And instead of whether you want to use it as a redundancy, as a backup, if power goes out, or whether you want to use it as a continuous loop system that is big enough as a feeder system, or is big enough for the entire data center, depends on the scale of it, needs to be done. But one point I'd like to mention here is we talk about these matured and bigger data centers. It's also important for us, the data center clients, to help small and upcoming data centers with adoption and creating the infrastructure for them, whether they have a shared infrastructure, whether you have data center parks where a lot of these decarbonization measures can be shared or learnings can be shared with some of the smaller data centers, because then the upliftment onus doesn't just fall on these big data centers. Even small data centers can benefit with those incorporations and those things. And those adoption mechanisms can be applied across the stream. Second point I just like to mention is the resiliency, not just from a dependency standpoint. We live in a very complex world environment. There is political challenges with various countries, with having self-interest, and each country wants their own resilience for critical infrastructure, data components. They don't want those things going down which can have a hampering on the country's defense, security, or critical operations. So a lot of those data centers have to be in country, and the environment in country might not be always favorable. So you can't have a one-size-fits-all approach. For warmer areas, a different kind of adoption technology needs to be considered. For a cooler environment, different challenges are there. So we have to come up with site area-specific prevalent approaches that have been successful for adoption, not just by bigger centers, but also creating it viable enough so that smaller data centers are also able to adopt and become more sustainable as a whole. That's how I look at it.
Absolutely. Great insights around the practices for building the ESG roadmap. So in the interest of time, we have 6 more minutes. The final one question I want to ask all the co-panelists. So now we set the stage in terms of the different practices approach for design and build for on-prem data center. What are the future trends in terms of adopting the digital and security measures and the AI ML, and then of course the sustainability practices? To start with, Satish sir, what are your views around how are we going to foresee the future roadmap?
So I think already there's a lot of AI adoption taking place, and hence I think we've spoken about data center redesign and adopting these kind of emerging technologies. Always if you look at the Gartner hype cycle, right? There's always anything new coming in. There'll be hype, and then it'll settle down, and then it'll streamline. So I think a few years back, what we kept on talking cloud. Today, AI is that hype today, but I'm sure things will settle down and it'll become more contextual based on the usage. So definitely, I think I call it as it's a evolving thing. Things will keep evolving, and absolutely enterprises are also trying to see how they can embrace these kind of emerging technologies, and finally, end of the day, it has to benefit the business. End of the day, the end consumer or the end. It's finally everything is being done for the final business objectives. In that context, and of course, in that overall context, cybersecurity is becoming very important because of growing threats. Yeah. So definitely resilience, cyber resilience, because earlier cyber resilience was more like thought of a technology topic, but it's today it impacts business.
Enterprise level.
It impacts business basically. So we saw a typical small CrowdStrike bug has really, it has taken the whole business down. So I think in that context, a lot of thought process now will happen, and
absolutely.
Organization will start thinking how they can really redefine the overall things and be more resilient.
Absolutely. So you want to add anything, Selvam?
We're talking about data center requirement. Data center requirement another 10 years will be more and more. Recently, 5G launched, okay? That in telecommunication, whatever the G increasing, that's much closest you want to go.
Correct.
Okay? They will not able to pump that much data to across places. It will go to the nearest aggregation center. It will go there. Like we are going back to the edge. Okay, some point of time we are moving back to the everything centralized system. Now more and more system coming up, the edge system analytical, that only few data will move on that. The way technology increasing day by day, okay, your data collections are happening, cyber security also threat. Okay, your toothbrush also they put some sensor, sending the data to somewhere else. Yeah. Okay, the data security is coming more and more. Is coming this one. Now, India also the most of the cloud data center workload will come back to India. Okay, that's a one. Then data center location you want to identify seismic zones. Okay, if we look that across India, Hyderabad is a good places for the data center. Yeah. Rest of the Delhi is vulnerable totally. Some other places are coming up. These are the location, the footprint go increase. Energy requirements are more and more. Then ESG part will come in the picture on that. Okay, how much power consumption happened at places. You want to establish that like a tree plantation something to reduce the pollution. Today, Delhi has a major issue. The number of vehicle populations are increased. That is initiating the pollutions are there. That is the roadmap point of view. You want to go more plantation and distribute the load from metro to B-class city, C-class city, work from that different part. Instead of congesting entire city, it will come there, work on that.
Okay.
Thank you.
On the sustainability practices, Rajat, you want to add, how are we going to foresee the future trends in the enterprise level practices?
Yeah, I'll take Mr. Selvan's point a little further about how the future evolves. India is already evolving. I think a lot of countries, not just India, we had the smart city concept. So it's not just about increasing the burden of the existing metro cities. A lot of these cities are driving to smarter frameworks, integrated frameworks, smarter commute solutions, which in turn will create that infrastructure that is integrated, more sustainable, more resilient from a broader risk standpoint. And as a community and as an ecosystem, you can function. Taking in consideration the biodiversity, integrating those aspects, there is concepts of green roofs, green plantations being part of the cooling systems. There is concepts of, I talked about green hydrogen as a hydrogen electrolyzer. I talked about, they say that is going to be the new oil. So we are moving away from fossil fuels, but data is going to be extremely important and is already important. Look how much hue and cry created when the recent tariff increases happened from Jio. We have BSNL developing that framework. We have the Starlink applications happening. We have the satellite technologies. So there is a lot of these decentralization, new nuances coming that need to bring in new challenges, both in terms of security resilience, but also in terms of long-standing sustenance of these technologies. So we don't have to look at things from a short-term standpoint. When we look at the future, we'll have to have the foresight and see what kind of challenges our future generations will see. That is all sustainability is about. Not just seeing obviously we'll have to consider the immediate challenges, but we also have to look at broadly what challenges our future generations and what resources we need to preserve for our future generations, and be mindful when we have the
it's
development.
beyond the carbon emissions.
I just want to add last point. The lot of data centers are now coming up also because of the lot of regulations are demanding data residency.
Absolutely.
That's also because while cloud you can't guarantee data can spill off. So I think a lot of this adoption of data residency clauses, especially banks and insurance, and so that's where a lot of local data centers are required. There's a huge demand, and I'm sure it will grow only.
Yeah. So I think it's already time up. So quick questions from audience. 1 or 2 questions we can take.
See, more than data security, availability of the data is what is more important, right? In such situations, how does an organization in terms of security does evaluate? Because we have seen the situation now. Now we take our step choosing in next solution in a very peculiar way. We would not jump into basis on its history or the spread in its market space. So as I said, I believe that there is one challenge. What that it is, they rolled out the update without doing a pilot testing, if I'm not wrong. Right? If they would have done a pilot testing, they would have got an understanding that there is a failure, which would not lead them to update in the production. So what are the metrics when you evaluate going ahead for any organization?
No, already customers, already all of us are discussing how to not have this again situation, right? So, so as I said rightly, typically organizations internally will never roll out a patch in production without testing it.
Absolutely.
But this is basically a vendor pushing, example, and what is CrowdStrike? It's an antivirus, think of antivirus company, right? They have to push updates, because if they don't push updates, and please, I think it's one of the event. Please understand, for CrowdStrike, it was a bad day.
I understand.
And it's not that CrowdStrike is doing this for first time, right? For the last 10 years, they have been saving billions of attacks, right?
Correct.
But just one bad day, one wrong update happened. I think it was just a miss. It's not that. So the point is, today now organizations are putting guardrails where probably, I think there's a good white paper also. These updates will not directly hit the production. It will just come to a sandbox kind of environment and then hit the production. So I think there are measures already being put, and I'm sure organizations will be more resilient. So, but these things will happen.
Yeah, I definitely get. But more importantly, apart from security, manageability also comes in play, because
please understand, for me, security is CIA: confidentiality, integrity, availability. Availability is part of security only.
Got it.
Availability is not something different. It is definitely part of the whole security. CIA, all three are important.
Got it. Thank you.
I'll add here your on-frame and cloud.
Yeah.
Here the on-frame, you have the control. You're setting up that, okay, go and apply test machine, go on to the UAT machine before touching the production. Then organization take the risk, okay, except your zero attack.
Correct.
On-frame guy not allow that any patch update to do things are there. People have the policy.
Correct.
Identify the system to 3-4 category.
Correct.
First apply the low, medium, something. That's clearly part of your operation calendar. You do everything visible, you can mitigate. When you go into cloud, we don't know when my infra as a security patch are updated. Okay. This is the one part difference between on-frame and cloud.
Yeah.
The one more points are there. This patch update, okay. The security is now high-level attack kind of thing, like an insurance company. They're telling that you'll make an accident, make insurance. That way they bring that one, but the new updates are coming up, they're doing that. Today almost patch update you do the controlled way. Antivirus who are published today, whether it's a trend or a strike something, they almost go online update only that.
Yeah.
That's the only strategy you want to make. But if you're updating patch within my control, get my approval, you go and apply. Then you make the different zone of server. Then you decide that where you want to do that. Okay. That's the only possible. Today security is across the world mostly automation.
Correct.
Other strategy you can do that critical applications are there. But the cluster servers are there. You can do the 2 different platforms.
Yes.
The system will not go the same day for the 2 bad things are there.
Yeah. Just
That way
to add-
you want to think
yeah.
of this incident, you want to probably think that what are the outages are there.
Correct.
Yeah.
Okay, today's security outage. Tomorrow Microsoft also given, they'll tell you to go and update the patch. Nobody guaranteeing that, okay, this tested, I'll give the guarantee something on that. Now, latest word is coming up, everything you want to enterprise. But you test, I release a patch. Whether applicable to your environment or not, I don't know. You take the call. That's the thing. Sir. Then learning from this, you want to do, at least ensure that repeated issue will not happen. Okay, maybe new things will come. Learning this one, how you can able to add your resilience factor.
Correct.
Think about, make some kind of a workshop. Either enterprise will do that or group of enterprise put together, do some design thinking. What are the type of failures are there? What are the things are? More than system, okay? You need the BCP process also there. For example, you have some process.
Correct.
The business team is not put a spare team. They understand the process to do that particular activity. Like you have the disaster takeover teams at the national level, correct?
Yes.
Anything happen, that team jump on, they take the control.
Correct.
Today, enterprise levels are there. 100 people are there. 100 people do the day-to-day work.
Yes.
Your BCP work, given something on that, we given the training. I have the live example.
Yeah.
We made separate system and happen how to load the data to run. The training we are given to the airline staff, that guys are gone. The new guys are coming up. They don't know how to operate. I give them the system also, they don't know the operate.
Correct.
It is not only technology, the entire organization BCP process,
Yeah.
frequently tested. It's not only reserving money for only technology in this one. You should get some kind of the percentage resource also allotted. That guy trained, periodically you won't test that one. Or the technology alone will not help.
Yes.
True, very true.
But honestly, this CrowdStrike event, see, a lot of banks did not get impacted. Have you seen? No bank was impacted. Banks are all running fine because, see, typically production did not get impacted. Mostly endpoints.
Front end,
The
end user.
endpoint which are running Windows got impacted. If you look, mostly banks run servers on Unix, Linux, AIX, and so none of the bank got impacted. Endpoint got impacted.
So any patch management approach, right? You can't have a zero downtime. Definitely, there should be a downtime in terms of ensuring a patch in place.
Yes.
Talking about the DR plans, right? So most of the organizations will not run the DR test on business days. I think you always do it on weekends and the off business, right?
There's two types of plan. One is that your high availability plan, they'll do the failover here and there. There's no disments are happening. DR plan is that everybody taking the data replications. I'm not sure that how many people restoring that the data is correct or not. They're only checking the daily backup happening, weekly backup happening, monthly backup happening, one backup went outside. There is no reversal plans are planned. Okay, when that happened, that time you're trying that, okay, backup restored, this, there is no infrastructure there.
Yep.
You want to set up the infrastructure, then you want to restore, whether the restore is working or not. This is the best practice. Basically, today everyone threatening that the recovery process to become the service.
Yep.
Somebody will industry-based industry, how they will come and do that work on.
Absolutely. Great.
Backup DR happening. If you call any 100 organization, 80 organization may be failed. They're taking the backup, restore not happening. When incident happen, that backup is not restorable.
Yeah, absolutely.
So I just want to confirm that would pilot testing would had resolved this issue or would had stopped this outage again?
No, we can't do any pilot testing. It is CrowdStrike has to do.
No, if it was on premise hosted, yeah, obviously on cloud, it will be pushed as a Windows update.
Strong
Yes.
terms and condition.
Yeah.
Anything happen to your product,
So
my
you
loss
first
to
of
be
all
paid
you-
by you, legally agreed, then only the guy will test and confirm that.
Correct.
Let's get out of CrowdStrike event. This was just one of the event. It was called Black Swan event. Black Swan event
Yeah,
which
yeah,
never happened.
Correct.
Like COVID. Now COVID, we never thought it'll come, right? This
Yeah.
came. So this we have to just forget and learn. We have to move on.
Totally.
Selvam sir has braved the challenges that MSME and enterprise has to go on premises because of the cost, and they then opt for the cloud. So do you see the prefabricated modular containerized solutions going to be a good options for this kind of small MSMEs and enterprise to host the things on premises and going to be a trend changer in India as well?
They take the call, then their own interest, whether I want to run that 5 years, whether I want 10 years. Till I saw some customer Windows 2007 using. As long as using, they don't want to replace.
True.
Okay, some company telling that part of the cyber security and everything, no, boss, you should be N-1.
Yeah.
Today we see that all technology vendor, the support, they stop that after 3-4 years. You won't take the call. Okay, regular update required, you should go to the latest version. Latest version means you want to pay.
Yeah.
Then you purchase. That's why the two subscription. One is a perpetual license owned by you. You take care of whatever things are there. Subsequently renew the subscription, you have the free update.
Subscription
Yeah.
based.
That way, the subscription cost what you are paying that 4 years subscription equal to one-time cost paying. That means equivalent to 100 rupees you're paying, 25 rupees you want to pay subscription.
Right.
Then organization take the call on that, whether I take the 100 rupees I'm okay, till totally stopped.
Yeah.
Things are there. Okay, I just came from telecom. Telecom provider normally not allow for any patch. That guy telling that I am accountable. Whether I'm running on N-11 version, N-1, my part I give the deliveries are there. That system fully is a closed network. That's why they called OT, operation technology. They will not expose anything. But current trend is going on today. OT, IT is merging.
Yeah.
How you are designing the policy, how you want to do, this all are our control. Do the work on this.
Yeah.
Like cloud, totally is a terms and conditions of LIC policy.
Yeah.
When happen, they will bring on some star. The star showing that it's not applicable.
True.
Right.
True. Thank you so much, sir.
Thanks.
Yeah, thank you. So great. Thanks for the discussion.